Compound interest formulas are pretty complex. They have parentheses, they have fractions, they have exponents, and therefore it's really useful to be using a scientific calculator to do these. And it's helpful if you use a really nice scientific calculator. If you're using one on your phone, the phone's scientific calculator doesn't really show you things in a great way. What I recommend instead is having a regular scientific calculator or grabbing one online. So a great one is the Desmos Scientific Calculator. And I'm just going to Google Desmos and Scientific. And one of the options that comes up here is the Scientific Calculator. But even if I just type in Scientific and then Google that with the Desmos, we will get the Scientific Calculator as the first option. I can click on this, and it will pull up an online calculator for me. And it's specifically, this is a scientific calculator. And it gives me functions that I can type in, like exponents, parentheses, my standard calculations. It'll even allow you to put in a fraction. So there's lots of basic things we can use here. But really the best thing about it is how it shows the calculations as you enter it in. So let's use the example of that $5,000 that we invested for 5 years at 8% interest, and let's just do the example of quarterly compoundings. So we would enter in the 5,000 first, times, and then we had a parenthesis in the formula. So I'll use the parenthesis button. You could also use the parentheses on your keyboard if you have a keyboard. 1 plus, and then we want the 8% divided by 4 for quarterly. When I type in 8%, I'm going to type it in as a decimal, and to get that fraction, I can actually just do divided by, and Desmos will automatically interpret that as being a little fraction. So we actually have the formula, once I put in the 4, looking very much on screen like the formula is given to you. You actually see it. If you try doing this in the phone, you won't see it like this. You won't see it with this fraction. So it's harder to tell if you're entering the right thing in. Now, currently that cursor is in the denominator. I want to get it out of the denominator before I close my parenthesis. And right now that closing parenthesis is a light gray because officially we haven't done it yet. Desmos is reminding us that we should. So then we'll put that closing parenthesis in. And then we want to move into the exponent. The way to do that is this A to the B button. This will take us into the exponent where we can put in 4 times 5. 4 compoundings per year for 5 years. When I type in 4 and then type times and then 5, you'll notice something. The 5 is not in the exponent with the 4. We want it to be in the exponent with the 4. So remember how I told you, be careful, and sometimes it's helpful to calculate the exponent before you plug it into the calculator. It's for this reason. If you don't calculate it first, the calculator may assume that not both the 4 and the 5, it may not think that both of them are in the exponent. Let me backspace here and go back to that exponent and enter it in a little bit differently. Remember, Desmos has put us in the exponent. If I want to show that both the 4 and the 5 are in the exponent, I could use another set of parentheses. So parenthesis 4 times 5, close my parenthesis. And now I have all of 4 times 5 in the exponent, which is what I wanted. I wanted 20 in the exponent. I could have just entered 20 there, but we have that same answer now, $7,429.74 that we had in our table up above. So Desmos allows you to make sure that everything is in the proper location, because on the left-hand side, you see your entries in that format that we would have the formula in, and so you can make sure that it's in the right place. And on the left side, or on the right side, you have the answer. And what's great is that we'll also continue to show you this log. So if you want to, you can go back and see what you entered in and check yourself as you go. Whereas you can't do that when you're using a scientific calculator and phone. Let's do one other example, the 5,000 where we were investing continuously. That's using the letter E. Now I could just go ahead and type E from my keyboard, or go to this ABC option for a keyboard option and type the E, and go back to the main option to choose the exponent. And again, let's use parentheses to show that I want a calculation in the exponent. I want my rate, 0.08, times I want the number of years, 5. And so notice my answer there when I compound continuously is $7,459.12, which is exactly what I got earlier on the last page. So, but this scientific calculator allows you to see things very clearly. This Desmos calculator can be downloaded as an app on your phone or on a tablet, or you can just use it from a browser.